autofocus. Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're actually going to do another ECLIPSE taillights modification. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to show you the first taillight I made. Let me get you guys off. So this is the original taillight, or the finished product, I guess. So here we have the panel LEDs, or did you call it panel LEDs or something like that? It's basically acrylic glass plus a LED strip on the outside outlining it. So, and then we have the infamous Supra taillights, different sizing to it, just because like this taillight is a lot more I'd say more oddly shaped. It's not flat panel, you know, so a lot of the shapes are pre-drawn, as you can see. Alright guys, so I probably got a pretty good angle on how it's supposed to look like, so I'm gonna turn off one light here so you guys can see it a little bit better. So that is the running light, the brake light now. So here you go, here's the brake light. It's a lot more brighter. I only decided to do the two lights on the middle. As you can see, I'm gonna leave it on for just a minute. So as you can see, the corner light, it illuminates comparison of the original tail light there, the ones I made previously. So again, they had the Aston Martin design. I don't know if I want to keep that the same design, but these, as you can see the individual LEDs into that one, because that one's not translucent or diffused. So this one's a lot more clear. So alright guys, back to the instructions on how to make these. So this is how I started out with. Of course, taking off the taillight lens, up the taillight with some regular masking tape, and I just drew the design that I want. That's usually how I usually go. So once you open up the taillight, and it should reveal this. Some taillights have this chrome layer still on it. If not, then it's probably already chipping away. So for the sealing to apply properly, you're going to need to clean these up, have a clean channel. As you can see, let me angle it so you guys can see a little bit more better. So there, it's a lot more cleaner edges all throughout. Just make sure there's nothing in the way of the walls here. You have this face, or the face of the lens, and then you have this other part essentially having a separate housing just like that. So let me get you guys onto my first step, onto the housing and how I made these. So okay, so for the housing here, I've used a fiberglass mold. So for the mold here, I've used the fiberglass resin from Bondo. Here's the model number or something, 20122. It's a fiberglass resin. Usually mainly use this for bodywork repairs and any holes, and if you have cracks and etc. This does come in like a brownish color. Use a fiberglass hardener also from Bondo. Here is the model number. It's a 20126. It hardens the for, I think it's every 2 tablespoons. Use about 10 drops of hardener. So the fiberglass resin was actually still fragile and a lot more weaker, so it needed some type of strength to it. So you just need any kind of putty, or I just go ahead and went for the brand anyways. I was already there, so use some Bondo all-purpose putty. Here is the model number. Where is it? Right there. It is a, what does it say? 20052. This is a sandable all-purpose putty. You just add the cream hardener already in here. You can also use a red one too. The best way to do this is to use the lens itself, and then tape this whole area inside with some tape here, masking tape, preferably ones that you can peel off later. Just go ahead and lay down your mats, which I don't. I also use the mat too, but go ahead and lay down your mat and then just press it down. Yeah, it doesn't scratch up the lens at all because of the tape protected it.
You can also use wax paper. All that's just left is just slapping it together, because this doesn't really, it doesn't glue on to the housing. It kind of just sits there like this, as close as possible to the red lens. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the acrylic. So alright guys, so this is a closer look on the acrylic glass I've used to make this. So here it is. It's just a normal clear transparent acrylic glass you get at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. A clear plastic film, so you can use it to peel it off and you get this finish here, which is kind of shiny. Again, if you have a red lens or a clear lens for this cars, that would work flawlessly, because the design or the way the lights shine through clear lenses, some Subarus have them. It's pretty hard. So yeah, that's how I did it for getting these acrylic lines on. I'm just lining it up and afterwards trimming it and then gluing it with the super glue or any adhesive. So yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and glue it on. I did hit it with an 80 grit sandpaper just around the edges here to clear up any burrs or anything I missed later. But look at it, it's like a freaking cloud. Woo. Alright guys, got it all glued together. As you can see, all the acrylic are all now in, so we're just gonna go ahead and wait for them to dry a little bit, and then we can go ahead and get started with the electronics part of it. So stay tuned, let's get it. No, this isn't a new space. I just decided to clean up because it started getting messy. Okay, so now I got everything situated here. Next is to do the electronics part of the whole lights here. So beforehand I went ahead and pre-cut some of this scrap acrylic that I used for holding the LEDs. So I just used this scrap acrylic sheet here. Just going to make a mold, or not mold, but I'm going to shape it to where it surrounds the circle. So you're gonna need like some kind of jar or something, and you're just going to heat it up, and then once it heats up it should bend around and shape. Go ahead and remove it like that, and then once that's figured out, alright, just had to change the battery there as I saw it go down again. So yeah, go ahead and heat up their other side, mold it to the jar. The whole point is for the LEDs to shine through the middle. So here you just need a couple things. You just need some red and black wire, just positive and ground. You can tell there the plus is actually going to be black. So here we have the LED strip here, and then here is the leads, and you're just going to put a positive and negative to them. Just going to connect them a little bit more better here. So alright, that's the best we can do. Okay, so let's go ahead and pre-tin the wires. I need to wet actually this. I'll be back. Put your soldering gun. I'm just gonna manhandle it, whatever. Get that thing out of the way, brother. Where are we at? Is it in focus? Like so. And that's a fine wiring job for me, man. Sure. Okay. Dude, I am shaking like a guy with Alzheimer's, bro. Just gonna get our power supply. Whatever. 12-volt battery. PC here right now. I've actually evolved. I don't use the PC 12 volts anymore. Splice your wires for your test. Black to black. It's kind of weird. Black is positive here, and then negative is red. Like, okay. There you go. Should work. It's connected. So yeah. Bam. All of them work. So now it's just a matter of putting it onto the light, and boom. Alright, see you guys. I'm not sure if autofocus takes more battery. We did our little connection here, like I said. It does work with positive, negative. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I think so. Yeah, should look like something like that. The circle is a little bit irregular here. Like I said, this is the most DIY I can get right now. Just adding spacers so the circle can get more circular. Goddamn battery died, but I'll show you guys when these are all done here. Guys, so I'm just checking, see if it works. So as you can see, it does work. It's a little dirty because that's what it looks like. I'm gonna wrap it up in foil. This whole thing, gonna cover it like that, so none of the light goes on the back. But yeah, got the circle right. All right, guys, just got it done, all foiled up here. These circles, as you can see. And this is the ugly part of it, and you don't really see that since you see this part only. So that's how it looks like. Now we're gonna test out the light. I did have a little accident here, but you can't see it that much when it's illuminated. So we're gonna test out the lights here in just a second. Alright, peace. Alright guys, so here is the tail lights. These are just fully directly to the 12-volt source. It's not through any resistors or anything, so there is no lens on here anyway. So as you can see the LEDs in there. It does a pretty good job. So let me just test them individually. Okay, alright. That's 1. That's 2, 3, and 4. And now we can test the blinker. Here's the blinker. You can't really see the mistake that I did here. And as you can see, it's not really that prominent. But yeah. Does a pretty good job of being what it is, circles and triangles. So I'm gonna show you again. Take a picture or something. So these 4 circles here are gonna be the main light source. This turn signal it looks red because these are a little bit overshadowing it, but these 2 in the middle are going to be the brakes, and I'm going to run all of these as a running light. And then this is your normal turn signal. There is no reverse light on there, so, and also it's not going to be this bright. It's going to be turned down just a little bit by the 330 ohm resistor or a higher value. I don't know, I haven't really decided if I'm going to run that one yet. So yeah, and this is just going to be full brightness all the time. So that's what it looks like. Let me get a closer look, taking some pictures too. So yeah, the next step would be actually wiring every single one of these positive leads and every single one of these negative ones in parallel, and then into a power source. That's going to be the last step before we actually mount it on the little housing we have. So yeah, I'll see you guys when I do that. Peace. Alright guys, so if you haven't seen my previous video on how I did the brake light and running light combination, so this is basically this is what you need for that combo. You need these, I think these are rectifier diodes. Just Google that or put it on Amazon. Depending on what your brightness is, difference from the running light and the brake light, this can always change. This is also going to the positive lead. So basically you have this little gray thing here. I'm trying to focus. Yeah, you see that little gray line in the black part of the diode? That's actually the direction the you want it to flow. So what rectifier diodes actually do, they actually flow in one direction only. So you have power essentially going in from this end, and that diode is basically allowing only flowing direction here, so there's no connection issue or anything like that. Then it goes through this resistor. As you can see, you have 2 resistors and 2 diodes. Basically this is going to be acting like a brake light. So one end of the wire would go in here, and then the positive lead would go in here, go through the diode, and essentially light it up full brightness without any resistance. As you can see, this resistor isn't connected here, so there's one signal for brake light and one signal for running light. So you would have a running light right here. As you turn on the headlight, it's going to go through this diode again. This just makes sure it goes in one direction, and it goes through this resistor, and it powers on the whole 4 circles or 4 light assemblies, and that basically limits the amount of volts going through, in theory decreasing the brightness. We also have another resistor here. This is just in case. I have a separate wiring diagram. So let's say you want these 2 brake lights, and all of them still light up. That's simple because this diagram will make that happen. Let's say you just want 4 of these to light up as running lights, and then you want all 4 to brake. You just remove this resistor out the way, and so you just connect all the reds onto this end, and then the blacks goes into the ground or negative. So that's how I did it for the other taillights, as you can see with this simple diagram over here. So yet again, let's go over. So let's go over again. These are 1N. If not, I'll provide the diodes again in the description, but these are IN or 1N 4004 rectifier diodes, and then we have 2 330k ohm resistors. Again, these can change in value depending how bright you want the LEDs to shine, or the difference, and that is all you need. Maybe a soldering gun to figure it out. And again, that little gray, you see that little gray or silver marking, that's the direction of flow you want it to be at. So you don't want it to be upside down like this, because that's not going to work, because the direction of flow is going through the diodes, and then one is going through a diode and one a resistor. So that's it. Let's get on to it. Alright guys, just a little update on how I wire these. Basically, we have the 2 brake lights in the middle. I can show you that right now. 2 brake lights, and the running lights are on all 4. As you can see, it's a lot more brighter. And yeah, we also have the turn signal on the corner here.
for the positive end. These are a little bit more easier to wire up, just because it only needs like a few, 2 wires. So that's our 10 signal and our brake light and our running lights. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready for it to put on the housing, seal it up, and a little trick to clumping these down. So, all right.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
So we're on to the sealing part of this whole complete build here. I use this what's this, GE? Yeah, GE, General Electric Company, certified resealing silicone. It's advanced window door. It's 100% waterproof. You gotta make sure you look for this. Don't get the DAP stuff, because no one does that. Use the ones that proper silicone caulk gun and all that stuff. But yeah, this is black too, so I do have this one I'd used before. It was the clear silicone kitchen and bath. This one is pretty good if you have like other lenses, but I use black because it hides it a little bit more better, and I just wanted to try it, and it turned out pretty good. It sealed it up pretty nice. The only thing I'm worried about now is waterproofing. I haven't really tested underwater yet, so I'd say this is the way to go. GE. Here is the black silicone. There's not a lot to it. ASTM or something. Yeah, this is what I use. So we're just going to go ahead and line it up to these hallways here, these little rails. So you want to make sure you want to be modest about it. Don't go too little. You want to go a lot. You know, I still have a lot in here actually. How much do I have? Almost half left. So go ahead and load it up, and yeah, get the pumping. All right. Alright guys, so the next step would be kind of like, as you can see, it's kind of like bubbled up, but I usually take like a chopstick or something. This is where I get my chopsticks and prep my clamps. So just get a chopstick and just run it across like so. I'm just trying to do it here. As you can see, it builds up here, and then you can just scrape it somewhere else. That's how I've been doing it to get that even silicone. So let me go ahead and do that. So yeah, it does look like a mess right now, but we want to make sure we get all these gaps here. So all these gaps here, it will seal. It's just there's a gap, so I just gotta make sure you get all these gaps. Again, there's one on the top here, if you guys can see that. But everything else looks to be fine. That's fine. You just want to run like a toothpick or maybe a napkin across of it, so it's even dispersives. But everything else looks fine. So yeah, it does look like a mess right now, but we want to make sure we get all these gaps here. So all these gaps here, it will seal. It's just there's a gap, so I just gotta make sure you get all these gaps. Again, there's one on the top here, if you guys can see that. But everything else looks to be fine. That's fine. You just want to run like a toothpick or maybe a napkin across of it, so it's even dispersives. But everything else looks fine. So for a lot of the area, it's pretty closed off. I can always clean that up later. As you can see, it sealed up pretty nice. There's like, the gap was there, and now it's not. I'll show you guys real quick. See, there's like no gap anymore. So yeah, this is how the process is, by the way. Just like 7 clamps and like 2 mini ones. Still gotta put some more in here, but it looks pretty good. I usually test it out when it's done drying, so yeah.